Have you ever wondered why some women seem to walk into a room and immediately command respect, while others, despite being equally talented, find themselves constantly overlooked? What if I told you the difference isn't about skill, education, or even confidence, but something far more fundamental? Today we're diving deep into the heart of self-empowerment for women. Not the superficial just believe in yourself advice you've heard 1,000 times before, but the transformative mindset shift that changes everything. The one thing that successful, empowered women know that others don't. My own journey with self-empowerment for women began in the most unexpected way, with complete failure. 5 years ago, I sat in my car after a meeting, gripping the steering wheel, fighting back tears. I had just pitched an idea I'd worked on for months, only to have it casually dismissed. What hurt most wasn't the rejection, it was that I'd made myself small before I even began speaking. Sorry to take everyone's time. This might not be the best approach, but I'm not sure if this makes sense, but sound familiar? Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a leading psychologist in gender communication patterns, calls this pre-apologetic language, words that surrender our power before we've even begun to use it. Her research shows that women use this type of language 3 times more often than men in professional settings. But here's the intriguing question. Why do so many brilliant, capable women undermine themselves this way? What invisible force shapes how we show up in the world? Think about your mother for a moment. Your grandmother, the women who raised you. What did they teach you? Not through their words, but through their actions. About taking up space in the world? About the appropriate way for a woman to speak, to dream, to succeed. For many of us, the script for self-empowerment for women was written long before we were born. We inherited beliefs about our worth, our voice, and our right to take up space that were formed generations ago. Sarah, a marketing executive I coached, always dimmed her brilliance in meetings. When we explored why, she remembered her mother always saying, "Nobody likes a show-off," whenever Sarah excelled at school. A simple comment, repeated for years, created an unconscious cap on her potential. The mindset shift that transforms self-empowerment for women begins with this radical understanding. The voice in your head that tells you to be smaller isn't yours. You've been carrying other people's limitations as your own. The great unlearning. Remember that question I asked earlier about women who command respect effortlessly? Here's their secret. They've done the work of separating inherited beliefs from their authentic truth. The mindset shift is this. You must recognize that the barriers to your empowerment aren't external, they're internal programs running in the background of your mind. When Maya first came to my workshop on self-empowerment for women, she couldn't maintain eye contact when speaking. 6 months later, she negotiated a 40% raise and launched her department's most successful initiative. What changed? She realized that her habit of deflecting praise and minimizing achievements wasn't being humble. It was a defense mechanism taught by a mother who feared her daughter would face rejection for shining too brightly. The unlearning process follows 4 steps. 1. Recognition. Identify the limiting beliefs that aren't truly yours. 2. Origin. Trace where these beliefs came from. 3. Challenge. Question whether these beliefs serve your highest good. 4. Replacement. Create new, empowering beliefs that align with your authentic self. The sacred rebellion. There's something powerful, almost sacred, about a woman who chooses herself, who decides that self-empowerment isn't selfish but necessary. Imagine walking into every room knowing that your voice matters, not because someone gave you permission, but because you stopped asking for it. This is what happened with Elena, a single mother who attended my retreat last year. For decades, she'd believed that putting herself first was selfish, a belief passed down through generations of women in her family who sacrificed everything for others. The transformation began when she realized that her grandmother's wisdom came from a different world with different options for women. By honoring her grandmother's sacrifices while choosing a new path, Elena found the courage to start her own business, something no woman in her family had ever done. This brings me to our second big question. What if the greatest act of gratitude toward the women who came before us isn't to live by their limitations, but to expand beyond them? The ripple effect. When you shift your mindset and embrace true self-empowerment for women, something remarkable happens. Your transformation creates permission for others. Research from the Clayman Institute for Gender Research shows that teams with at least one empowered female leader show increased participation from other women by 48%. Think about that. Your journey isn't just about you, it's about every woman who sees what's possible through your example. Priya, an engineering director, shared that after she stopped using minimizing language and owned her expertise, 3 junior women on her team began speaking up more in meetings. Her shift created a ripple effect that changed the culture of her entire department. This is the true power of self-empowerment for women. It multiplies. The Covenant. The journey of self-empowerment for women isn't a destination, it's a daily practice, a covenant you make with yourself. Each time you catch yourself shrinking, using just and sorry unnecessarily, or deflecting compliments, you have a choice. Each moment is an opportunity to honor your authentic voice. Start small, notice your language patterns. Practice receiving compliments with a simple thank you instead of deflection. Set boundaries without over-explanation. Remember, the mindset shift that changes everything is understanding that the limitations you feel aren't your natural state. They're learned behaviors that can be unlearned. You were born with a voice meant to be heard, with dreams meant to be pursued, with power meant to be used. And when you embrace this truth, when you commit to the daily practice of choosing yourself, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of every woman who crosses your path. Now tell me, what's the biggest self-empowerment for women challenge you have experienced? Please share your story with us in the comments. And if you know someone else who's struggling with self-empowerment for women issues, please share this video with them. It might just change their life. I have much more information on self-empowerment for women, so follow the link in the description for some more fascinating insights on self-empowerment for women.